the beginning, stock cars outran the police to deliver the hooch to our ancestors. So sweet. Are you ready for a trip down victory lane, where Richard Petty's winnings were insane and Dale Earnhardt put everyone to shame? Canadian Junior Handley is in the Hall of Fame. Live from Haldeman County, it's time for the Driver in Deep podcast. Are you ready?
Hey, welcome to the Driver in Deep podcast, brought to you by wingnutsports.com. And thanks for joining us today. I'm Mark, and I'm here, of course, with my co-host, Alex Nagy. Before we get started here, Alex, I have to give a shout out to Joel Robinson, who correctly called me out on Twitter for saying J.R. Fitzpatrick is a driver. And Joel correctly hashtagged me that hashtag J.R. Fitzpatrick is a racer, not a driver. So my mistake, Joel. Thanks for letting me know. All right, Alex, I joked about the snow last week and after coming back from vacation, but it's been just over a week. And yesterday alone, I had to shovel 4 times, and I'm getting pretty tired of it already. You know, that plus this cabbage cleanse I'm doing this week with my wife, Joni. So, Alex, I'm just warning you now, look out, because I might be a little on edge.
You know what happens? I read a study when you said you're doing that cabbage thing or whatever your new fad is this week. I don't know. I guess you're bored because the bills are out. But I looked up a little study, and I don't know if you know this, but that Cabbage Patch doll, that derived from somebody who actually was on this cabbage diet or whatever it is and turned into a cabbage person. So just a heads up. Yeah, just a heads up.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about all this snow, though?
Yeah, I get your displeasure because, you know, we never really had any winter or snow, you know, cold weather or snow up until when you guys went away. But I got to tell you, I'm happy at least it's sticking around for you to get some enjoyment out of it as well as me. So don't ever think this kills me because I think about this all the time. Do you ever think how stupid we must sound talking about our weather? I mean, we live in Southern Ontario. And we have had, you know, we've lived here all our lives.
Yeah.
We've had winter all our lives. So shouldn't we understand by now what we're in for each year?
Yeah. You know, not only that, I think, you know, I have another buddy calling, and I'm going to throw him under the bus right now because he's always complaining about how he can't wait to eventually move to, quote, Costa Rica. And, you know, I don't get it. You know, like you said, we've been here all our lives, and the winter's coming. We know that. And if your attitude is that I hate the winter and I hate the cold, well, guess what? You're going to hate the winter and you're going to hate the cold. And, you know, I choose not to think that way. I do enjoy a little bit of snow, maybe not 4 feet like we had the last week. And I don't mind the cooler temperatures as well, because I think you can appreciate the summer a little more. Well, hopefully we'll appreciate the next summer, because the last summer there wasn't a lot to appreciate with all that rain.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, for me, I'm the same. Listen, I don't hate winter at all. I just like summer better.
Yeah.
And I never realized that until me and Sandy moved to Nashville area for 3 years, and winter was like a terrible November day here. So, yeah, like I say, never hated winter, still don't, but just like summer better. And plus, now that I play a little bit of disc golf, all this snow isn't ideal, at least not for me. I mean, yeah. I don't have any desire to be searching for my discs in the snowbank, unlike the true diehards out there, and good for them. But, you know, it was nice. A couple of weeks ago, it was cold, you know, sunny, frozen, a little bit of crusty snow. And it was great, but I'm just not real keen on playing in the snowbanks.
Yeah. You know, I agree. You know, it's actually quite nice when you have some hard packed snow out there. Your discs go a little further as well. You know, but I don't see myself taping any ribbons to my disc just so I can find them, you know, in the deep snow. And, you know, trust me when I say, and you know this, some of these committed disc golfers, they're actually planning shifts when they're going to go shovel off the tee pads at Christie Lake, and even snowshoeing in between the holes, because that's the only way they can get there with all the snow that got dumped on them. And you know what? Good for them. They're doing whatever they can to keep the course open, but
I agree.
I definitely would much rather be sitting on my couch and watching football this time of year anyway. And I guess that was my segue, so I'm going to start here. Speaking of which, I can honestly say, Alex, that I feel no hard feelings after the Bills-Chief game on Sunday night. It was such a great game, and I said right after the game, and many experts agreed that this may have been the best football game in NFL history. And Josh Allen, I believe, really cemented himself as a superstar in the league. And yeah, it's too bad that a coin flip in overtime very well could have been the deciding factor, but that's the rules. The rules are the rules. And I will also say that with the way the Bills played, they're going to get many more shots at this Lombardi Trophy during Josh Allen's tenure as quarterback. And I think Tom Brady probably also saw this and must be thinking to himself, wow, now's the time to retire, with his arm strength dwindling like Peyton Manning's did at the end of his career. I think Brady must, realize that throwing those deflated footballs is going to get way too difficult for him.
I'll say a couple things and I'm out, because you are such a hypocrite. When the Leafs make it to the playoffs and lose, they're junk. It doesn't even matter. Making it to the playoffs means nothing. You got to win the whole thing. Well, guess what? The Bills are the new Leafs. They got all this talent. They can't get nowhere. And the coin flip had nothing to do with it. I got 2 words. And actually, why are you beating up on Brady? He's old enough to be Josh Allen's dad, and he still outperforms him most of the times. Just because Brady and the Pats beat your team for
cheaters
a decade. Now you're trying to get a jab in. Well, it's too late, buddy. I got 2 words for you, and I'm going to move on. 13 seconds.
Yeah. Okay, well, then how about this?
What
about the series before? How about this? 7 seconds it took the Bills to score on the series before after the kickoff. So really, both teams,
mistake.
And listen, I don't want to end this off on you and me going back and forth at each other, because that was a great game. And, I can honestly say there wasn't one point in that game that I was upset. There was no bad officiating in any way. The game was played between 2 great teams, and, the Bills probably win that game 50% of the time or more. It didn't go their way this year, but I think it's going to make them more hungry. And believe me, Josh Allen looks like the kind of quarterback that I think he just took a step to the next level. That's it. I'm out.
Yeah, I'll let you get the last word. And if that'll make it all go away and I don't have to talk anything about Buffalo Bills, I'm good with that. Anyway, we talked last episode about racing ramping up with Daytona coming and a bunch of different announcements starting to leak out in different forms of auto racing and motorsports. And so let's stay along those lines for another episode or 2 here with some Ontario content. And I say Ontario content because we expect that we'll have content or stories from, different parts of the country or the U.S. coming up. But, last week on our podcast, Fitzpatrick announced his plans with us. And at that time, we mentioned that Kyle Steckly went public with his 2022 plans a few days before that. So we have Kyle coming on to elaborate a little bit about his plans.
Yeah, that's great. I know, we often talk between the two of us that we're not a newsy podcast per se, but it really is a privilege when somebody wants to spill the beans with us. And, that's going to happen on our next episode. But we also get to talk with Kyle today. And he was with us, I believe, in October. And at that time, he didn't really have any idea on what 2022 was going to look like for him. So we're going to get some more information on his announcement today, and I personally am really looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Why don't we get Kyle on here now?
Sounds good. You can find Kyle Steckly and 22 Racing by searching for him or 22 Racing on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Welcome back to Driver in Deep, Kyle.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm excited.
Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. And hi again. Thanks for making some time. I know that you have some things going on, like some other interviews, et cetera, so we won't keep you forever. But, hey, speaking of which, buddy, about 12 months ago, did you ever think that all these different people would want to get a piece of your time, get some interviews, talk about what you got going on, et cetera, as much as it's happening these days?
No, definitely not. Right after we made the announcement, I had about 5 or 6 guys reach out, wanting me to come on their show and whatnot. So it's good. It's good publicity. I love coming on and talking to everybody.
Hey, you know what? That's different than your dad.
Yeah.
when he was racing, and I'd call him just to talk to him, never mind an interview, and he didn't want to do that. So
yeah,
that's one thing you're already better than him at already.
Hey, Kyle, when people reach out to you for an interview, it's either for a good or a bad reason. But in your case, right now, it's all good. You were just on with us back in October, as I mentioned with Alex in the intro. And at that time, you really didn't know what this season was going to look like for you. So obviously things happened fairly quickly. And last week you announced publicly what your plans are going to be for 2022, which is a full-time APC United Late Model Series schedule. And for anyone who missed it, can you tell us some of the details on how this happened and what things are going to look like for you this year?
Yeah, so basically Luke Ramsey at APC reached out to us at the end of the year, and then he ended up coming to the shop at the start of January, and we put the whole deal together pretty quickly, and we're going to be racing full-time in the APC Series across Ontario this year, as well as doing all the Friday nights at Delaware in the Pro Late model. So we're definitely going to be busy, but really looking forward to the year and the opportunity to be partners with APC Auto Parts, and just can't wait to get going.
Yeah, I'll bet you're excited when it all came together, because I know that you were hoping to do just that, so it worked out good for you. And you touched on it here, just in your last mention after Mark, in your last answer with Mark. But so the full APC thing, and you're going to run weekly at Delaware, and are you going to do any other events this summer besides that, or is that going to pretty much fill up your schedule?
We're trying to put together some other stuff to get experience, but nothing official yet. Just working on a couple other things. We'll see what we can get sponsorship for, and maybe we can get out to a couple other races. Yeah,
so possibly some Triple Crown stuff at Flamborough if schedule allows, or things like that. I'm not telling you. I guess I'm asking if those are some of the opportunities that may come about.
Yeah, we'll definitely just play it by ear with the late models and see how it goes that way. And if it plays into the schedule, I'd love to go to Flamborough and run there. And hopefully I can get into a couple of different cars and get more experience that way.
Yeah, for sure. The more seat time you get is going to be a huge benefit, for sure. Will you be using the same car for the weekly racing that you will run the AP Series with, or do you know yet, how that will go, and are all your partners in place, or is that still a work in progress too?
So we've kind of been talking about that just now that all the schedules have came out, and looking at them, some weekends are definitely going to be really, really busy, and if something would happen, it definitely wouldn't be very good. So we're looking into the option of possibly getting a second car for the season, just so that we do have that spare car if needed, or we could run one at Delaware and the other at APC. So we're looking into that, just because you don't want to have to miss a race because you got in a wreck at Delaware or APC, either or. So we're looking at that. And for partners wise, we have most of our partners put together for the year, and we've got it all planned out. We're just finalizing a couple last partners. So I think we've got everything pretty much in place for the season.
That sounds great. So with this program, I don't know if you can tell us, or if this has even been talked about, but is this something for 2022, or is this going to be a multi-year program where you can really sink your teeth into it and get after it, or how's that going to go?
As far as I'm aware, we're going to run 2 APC seasons with APC Auto Parts as our primary sponsor, and with opportunity to grow the partnership for many more years, I hope. And I would love to continue on our partnership. I think it's going to be a great relationship between the two of us, and hopefully we can go for many years and get lots of wins and championships.
Yeah, sounds good. Listen, I want to say, I seen that you and your dad are down at the Snowball Derby in December. What's up with that? From what I'm hearing, the late model division, and like you just said, it's a big part of your plans in the future. And if so, you and your dad taking it in, seeing what it's all about? And is that a race that you could see yourself wanting to do down the road?
Yeah, it's definitely a race I'd like to do. Me and Dad went down just to watch as fans, see what it was about, and it's definitely crazy down there. There were 60 pro late models and 60 super late models, so definitely not a lack of cars. And it was a really great time and a great show, great racing, and I'd love to go down there sometime and race myself.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. A couple of Canadians, well, four Canadians, I think, the Butchers from Nova Scotia, and Trayton ran the pro late model race, Trayton Lapsevich, and Brandon Watson ran the super late model race. So we always have stout Canadian content down there for sure. So yeah, I think that'd be something cool for sure. I wish I would have had the chance to do it, and I never did.
Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking of late models, with a late model, you can do some series racing, but there's also several other opportunities, either here in Canada or in the US, because the cars, from what I understand, are very similar no matter where you go. Is that how you see that?
Yeah, pretty much all pro late models are the same across North America, with adjustments here and there in the rules, but everything is pretty much the same, and you can adjust a few parts and make it work to go pretty much anywhere you want.
Yeah, that's always nice when you have those options available to you, at least. Not to say that it always happens for you, but just have those options is something that's pretty intriguing, I'm guessing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So everybody knows your dad, Scott Steckly. He has 22 racing, and besides your program, he also fields a couple of Pinty Series teams, one for Tagliani and one for who we mentioned earlier, Trayton Lapsevich. So how's that all going to work logistically if there's a conflict weekend, or, I'm sure, listen, I know you guys have this figured out. I'm not doubting that, but just tell us, how these guys are going to work through those weekends. I'm sure you'll have a split off crew or I think your dad's probably going to have to go to the Pinty stuff because he's got a bunch of clients there, but how's that whole thing going to work?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really busy for him, but I think we're trying to get a bit of my own crew that doesn't go to the Pinty's races, so that we don't have any conflicts when there's a Pinty's race on the same weekend as an APC race. And I think he would have to go to the Pinty's races and I'd be on my own, but I think we've got a good group of guys that will still be able to do just as good and compete for wins.
Alex, it seems like maybe you're angling to volunteer for that job.
Well, maybe, you never know. Just putting the feelers out, man. You know what they say, you got to plant those seeds.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle, it sounds like you and everyone at 22 Racing have a really incredibly busy summer ahead. What do you want to accomplish this season?
I want to accomplish a lot this season. I want to have a really good year, both at Delaware and the APC Series. And I feel confident in our team and me as a driver and our chassis from McCall Racing Enterprises that we can go out and win a ton of races, run up front weekly. And I want to go win 2 championships. That's what I want to do. So we'll see if we can make that happen and just play it race by race. And hopefully at the end of the year, we can be up front hunting for a championship.
It's a good approach, man. I like your approach, and that's how it should be for sure. So, listen, we're going to get you out of here, but you talked about it earlier, and you've got all these people pulling at your jacket trying to get you on. So you're going to do these other interviews, or you've already done some. What's one thing that you can tell us that you're not going to tell anybody else in your interviews? You got anything for us, buddy? Come on, give us a little bit of something.
I don't know.
Who you dating this week? What do you got? Got to be something different here.
How about your hockey game?
Hockey's canceled. Hockey's canceled right now. Going back to 31st as far as nothing gets pushed out further.
Yeah, it sounds like that's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's it? That's all you got?
I think so. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Oh, smokes. What about your car number? Going to be 24 still?
No, we're changing to 22 this year and keeping the APC tradition. And it's going to be pretty cool to see that it was always my dad's number. So that'll be cool to kind of follow in his footsteps and change it up a little bit this year. And really excited for a bit of a change. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, no, that sounds great.
Yeah, listen, Kyle, thanks a lot for coming on Driver and Deep, and best of luck to you in 22 racing this year.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Good luck.
Thanks for having me on.
Well, we're wide open sideways.
All right, you're clear.
The talk is cheap.
You're clear on this.
We got the foot to the floor. They're gonna drive her in deep.
Gonna be on the inside of you. All right, you're clear. Got a slow boat coming up.